Practice the latest AWS Certified Developer, Associate, DVA-C02, dumps to test yourself. 1. A developer has created an AWS Lambda function that is written in Python. The Lambda function reads data from objects in Amazon S3 and writes data to an Amazon DynamoDB table. The function is successfully invoked from an S3 event notification when an object is created. However, the function fails when it attempts to write to the DynamoDB table. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The Lambda function's concurrency limit has been exceeded. B. DynamoDB table requires a global secondary index, GSI, to support writes. C. The Lambda function does not have IAM permissions to write to DynamoDB. D. The DynamoDB table is not running in the same availability zone as the Lambda function. Answer: C. 2. A developer is creating an AWS CloudFormation template to deploy Amazon EC2 instances across multiple AWS accounts. The developer must choose the EC2 instances from a list of approved instance types. How can the developer incorporate the list of approved instance types in the CloudFormation template? A. Create a separate CloudFormation template for each EC2 instance type in the list. B. In the Resources section of the CloudFormation template, create resources for each EC2 instance type in the list. C. In the CloudFormation template, create a separate parameter for each EC2 instance type in the list. D. In the CloudFormation template, create a parameter with the list of EC2 instance types as allowed values. Answer: D. 3. A developer is deploying an AWS Lambda function. The developer wants the ability to return to older versions of the function quickly and seamlessly. How can the developer achieve this goal with the least operational overhead? A. Use AWS OpsWorks to perform blue-green deployments. B. Use a function alias with different versions. C. Maintain deployment packages for older versions in Amazon S3. D. Use AWS Code Pipeline for deployments and rollbacks. Answer: B. 4. A company is offering APIs as a service over the Internet to provide unauthenticated read access to statistical information that is updated daily. The company uses Amazon API Gateway and AWS Lambda to develop the APIs. The service has become popular, and the company wants to enhance the responsiveness of the APIs. Which action can help the company achieve this goal? A. Enable API caching in API Gateway. B. Configure API Gateway to use an interface VPC endpoint. C. Enable cross-origin resource sharing, CORS, for the APIs. D. Configure usage plans and API keys in API Gateway. Answer: A. 5. A developer has an application that stores data in an Amazon S3 bucket. The application uses an HTTP API to store and retrieve objects. When the putObject API operation adds objects to the S3 bucket, the developer must encrypt these objects at rest by using server-side encryption with Amazon S3 Managed Keys, SSE S3. Which solution will meet this requirement? A. Create an AWS Key Management Service, AWS KMS key. Assign the KMS key to the S3 bucket. B. Set the XAMZ server-side encryption header when invoking the put object API operation. C. Provide the encryption key in the HTTP header of every request. D. Apply TLS to encrypt the traffic to the S3 bucket. Answer: B. 6. A developer is creating a template that uses AWS CloudFormation to deploy an application. The application is serverless and uses Amazon API Gateway, Amazon DynamoDB, and AWS Lambda. Which AWS service or tool should the developer use to define serverless resources in YAML? A. CloudFormation Serverless Intrinsic Functions. B. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. C. AWS Serverless Application Model, AWS SAM. D. AWS Cloud Development Kit, AWS CDK. Answer: C. 7. A developer wants to insert a record into an Amazon DynamoDB table as soon as a new file is added to an Amazon S3 bucket. Which set of steps would be necessary to achieve this? A. Create an event with Amazon Event Bridge that will monitor the S3 bucket and then insert the records into DynamoDB. B. Configure an S3 event to invoke an AWS Lambda function that inserts records into DynamoDB. C. Create an AWS Lambda function that will poll the S3 bucket and then insert the records into DynamoDB. D. Create a cron job that will run at a scheduled time and insert the records into DynamoDB. Answer: B. 8. A company is planning to securely manage one-time fixed license keys in AWS. The company's development team needs to access the license keys in automaton scripts that run in Amazon EC2 instances and in AWS CloudFormation stacks. Which solution will meet these requirements most cost-effectively? A. Amazon S3 with encrypted files prefixed with config. B. AWS Secrets Manager secrets with a tag that is named secret string. C. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store secure string parameters. D. CloudFormation no echo parameters. Answer: C. 9. A developer is creating a mobile app that calls a backend service by using an Amazon API Gateway REST API. For integration testing during the development phase, the developer wants to simulate different backend responses without invoking the backend service. Which solution will meet these requirements with the least operational overhead? A. Create an AWS Lambda function. Use API Gateway proxy integration to return constant HTTP responses. B. Create an Amazon EC2 instance that serves the backend REST API by using an AWS CloudFormation template. C. Customize the API Gateway stage to select a response type based on the request. D. Use a request mapping template to select the mock integration response. Answer: D. 10. A developer is planning to migrate on-premises company data to Amazon S3. The data must be encrypted, and the encryption keys must support automate annual rotation. The company must use AWS Key Management Service, AWS KMS, to encrypt the data. When type of keys should the developer use to meet these requirements? A. Amazon S3 managed keys. B. Symmetric customer managed keys with key material that is generated by AWS. C. Asymmetric customer managed keys with key material that generated by AWS. D. Symmetric customer managed keys with imported key material. Answer: B.